Okay guys, welcome back to episode 4 of the bathroom reno. I've got a little helper with me in the back today. You can't see him, but he's back there.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so Dougie and I are out getting what we need to do episode 4. So this calls for a quick little trip to my favorite place on earth, and you guys know what that is, the Habitat for Humanity Restore. So we're just gonna head in there, and I want to see if they have something for me to do, like a kind of paper towel holder. I don't know what I want to do for the paper towel yet, so I'm really just, hoping that something will jump out at me and then I can DIY something for cheap. So let's head into the Restore and see what we can find.
So the first thing we saw was this. Looks like it's straight out of Barbie's dream house. I did not pick this up, you guys. We chose to leave this one behind. But I did see this. I love this vintage towel holder. It's a little bit beat up, but I like that. And it actually is going to go perfectly with the toilet paper holder that I picked up at the St. Thomas Habitat for Humanity Restore that I was at the other day. I scored these for $3. And this is going to be the toilet paper holder that we're going to use. So I'm glad I found a matching piece. Okay guys, then I spotted these large mass-produced art pieces. They had a $10 sticker on them, and that's a little more than I wanted to spend. But if I had to go to Home Depot and buy all the wood to make a sign, I would have spent that or more. And then I would still have to build a sign. So these pieces of art are a perfect piece to reuse to make a new sign. And I'm going to show you guys how it's done. So let's get back to my craft studio.
Okay guys, so for the sign that I'm going to be making, I have my piece from the Restore. And we are going to be flipping this around and using the inside. So I thought this would make a really great frame for a kind of reverse canvas style like picture. Except for it's not canvas. This is probably like a cheap MDF, thin MDF. We're gonna paint this white and then we're gonna paint the frame. So I'm just gonna work as I go here. I don't really have an idea what I'm doing, so we'll just kind of see what comes out.
So I started by sanding the edge of the frame. It was painted white and I wanted to get rid of that, so I used 60 grit sandpaper, and then I tried with my palm sander as well. Once I had it sanded to my liking, I removed the backing from the frame. It was old enough that I could just kind of push it out with my hands. And then I took a bit of vanilla frosting from Country Chic paint and I painted the entire back of the art piece. Just one coat for this, but I did notice that it soaked up the paint really well, so I did have to end up using a lot more paint than I thought I would. I stained the frame with Minwax dark walnut, and this is natural wood, so it stained up really nice here, and it was really easy to stain.
Okay guys, so I want to show you something cool that I did, and I didn't really plan this, but the frame was painted white and I sanded it all down, but I left a little bit of the white paint on the frame, and then I stained over it to create this kind of rustic beat up look. So if you're ever staining a frame and it has paint on it, you can leave a little bit of the paint on and stain over top of it, and then you get this really cool kind of vintage wash effect on the sides of your frame. Now the front part of the frame didn't have a lot of paint on it, so I just have a little bit of paint around on the top, but I think the sides are really, really cool, the edging there, and I'll show you a better shot when it's up on the wall. Okay, so I have my piece of MDF painted, and we're going to apply our stencil and do the lettering on this now. So first thing I have to do is I have to measure how big it is, so I know how big to make my letters. So the painted area is about 33.5 inches in height by about 21. So I don't want the letters to take up the whole area of the white, obviously. So I'll probably do them about 24 by about 15. So we're going to design it in our Cricut design space and then cut it.
Alright guys, so I have my text already done here. And they're 3 separate pieces. So life, country, and is better in the is 3 separate pieces. So to make it the right size for my art, I have to attach it all. So I'm just going to select it all, attach, and then we're going to resize to make it the size that we want. Because I need it to be so large and my Cricut mat only cuts 11.5 by 24, we are going to have to detach it once we get it to the size that we want. So I am stretching the font here, and I know they say you're not supposed to do that, but I wanted this font to be longer anyways. So I've just untoggled the lock there, and I'm stretching it down. Once I get it to the size that I want, and then it's all set, we're going to detach everything so that it'll separate and cut onto one mat, or different mat, sorry. So we detached, and now you can see that the pieces move around and that we can go ahead and cut, and the Cricut will automatically move it to its own mat. So I have here my mat set. I'm going to move the lettering away from each other just a bit because we are going to be using this as a stencil. So I want a bit of an edge next to the letters so that I have room to paint. So I'm just moving this part down, and I'm going to move country down here a bit. Life is on a mat on its own, so that one's fine. And everything looks good. So we're going to go ahead and cut this with our Cricut Maker. So since we're using this as a stencil, I need to remove the letters and keep the negative part. So I'm just removing the letters there, and then you see our gorgeous stencil. So before you remove your stencils and place them on your piece, you want to make sure you line them up just to get an idea of where everything is going to go. We're going to start working at the bottom with the word country. I'm removing my transfer tape here. This is just contact paper from the Dollar Tree. And I'm placing it over my words so that they all stay as one piece. Smoothing it out with my extra large scraper here to make sure that everything is stuck on properly. Peeling it back, and then we're going to place this word down on, or the stencil down on our wood piece here. So I will get it in line. Make sure you smooth it really well, and again, take your scraper and make sure that you smooth the words down completely and get rid of as many air bubbles as you can. I'm removing the transfer tape. So I'm stenciling on a layer of the white paint that we use to paint the backing of the board. This is called the PVPP method. So it's paint, vinyl, paint, paint. So basically what we're doing is this is going to eliminate bleeding. So I put the white layer down first, then I put the black paint over top that my words are going to be. And this really helps with bleeding, especially on this unsmooth surface like this piece of wood. I remove the stencil and then remove all the vinyl pieces left behind. Okay guys, so for words like these ones is better in the, you can see that they're skinnier, so we have to be really careful with our stenciling for this because these are the words where we can get a lot of bleeding. So we want to make sure that the stencil is really smoothed out, and I'm using my scraper here to make sure that it doesn't pull up at all when I'm pulling off the transfer tape. Smooth it really, really well, make sure it's really stuck down, and then again do the white layer. I did 2 coats of this over top just to make sure I wasn't going to get any bleeding.
I know, how good is that?
Yeah.
Alright, so now all we have to do is put this back together. So I have my frame here. I'm placing it over top, flipping it over, and then we are going to use a Ryobi air nailer to tack this back in place.
Alright, let's hang up this picture. That's better. Alright guys, so thank you so much to everybody who voted on the Facebook page or made comments in the YouTube channel. I have decided to go with the boho chic drawer pulls. The votes were, I think, really close. Let me just double check and see if anybody else has voted. So yeah, 48% for the boho chic and 52% for the farmhouse. Now, so I know more of you voted for the farmhouse, but I got in the actual poll, but I got more comments for the boho chic, and I actually myself really like the boho chic, and the vibe that I want to take for the bathroom is going to end up being a little bit more boho than farmhouse. So we're going to go with these drawer pulls for this. Don't worry, I got another bathroom to renovate. Maybe that one will do farmhouse. French country farmhouse. So I'm just going to put on these boho knobs here. Alright you guys, so that's it for episode 4 of the bathroom reno. So for this episode, I'm really excited with the progress that we made. I love the sign, I love the drawer pulls. I'm really excited to pull this whole bathroom together. I have a lot of really great things planned coming up. Some fun decorating finishes and touches. We're getting into the really good stuff now, you guys, so stay tuned for the next episode. Make sure you subscribe and feel free to hit that notification bell so you get a notification the next time I upload a video. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.